Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to my home studio, which is basically a shed in my garden. Got Mr. Owen Carne here today, and obviously the centre of our focus is this incredible instrument, which you may have seen recently on the repair shop. And here it is. This is the restored keyboard that was going to end up in a skip, and this is the man who's saved it. And if it wasn't for Owen, it probably would be in a skip actually. And it was hugely generous of you, Owen, to give me the keyboard to get it restored. And I'm very grateful of that, and as I think a lot of the fans are as well.
Well, it's in its rightful place.
Thank you, mate. Well, I think I think it's important. I wanted you here with me when we did this video because you're an important part of this story. So here it is. So basically, let's just talk through the restoration a little bit. Yeah. It didn't work. It was number of the keys were broken, and the mechanism. Let's show you actually. It's a very advanced piece of technology, this. So this is a Hohner Cembalet, which is basically an early electric piano, and a bit like a Fender Rhodes. I'll turn my phone off. A bit like a Fender Rhodes, where you have keys striking tines, which are then amplified. So it's pretty simple, pretty basic technology, but it was completely shot. And the guy who did the restoration actually made all of these parts, because you can't, they're really hard. I think they're pretty much impossible to get actually. So he custom made all these parts. The power supply was a really weird thing. I didn't even recognise what the plug type was. So he's done a new power supply, renewed the electronics, the light bulb, which apparently was was a vital component, and then structurally, the wood was completely rotten on the edges. You remember that, Owen?
Yeah,
on the back.
Yeah, the corners were really going. Yeah.
So they've repaired the structure, but he's varnished in all of these
patina.
Yeah,
patina.
That's it. Yeah. And I mean, there's fag burns on here. It looks like there's been a drink or two sort of spilt on there. Knowing Dave, that's probably no surprise. I mean, you just sit back and look at this and you just imagine the stories I could tell.
Yeah, the places it's been.
The places it's been. It's probably been wrapped around a couple of people's heads. There's probably, been in the ice cream van and all of those hundreds of gigs. Probably thousands, actually.
Yeah,
say.
Yeah.
Because we were talking earlier off cam, and you were saying, Owen, I think he retired it around the Raven, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was up until the end of 1978. So, and I'm pretty sure he had it when he joined. It was one of the keyboards he had when he joined, I think, because there's really early photos, and the Cembalet is in the photos. So
yeah, and it had that dual lid.
Yes.
Which somewhere along the line, I think it used to be like a V.
Yeah.
Probably part of it came to protect the keys when you weren't using it, and it came up in a V. We don't have that. It's probably long been lost. But my understanding is Dave was a massive Zombies fan. So Rod Argent had a Cembalet.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's why Dave was drawn to the Cembalet.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think he basically played it for pretty much since he joined till the end of 78. So
yeah, I've seen those early photos where he sat down like an organist.
Yeah.
See, Dave used to sit down like the traditional organist sort of way of playing, actually.
With his platforms and his flares.
He had quite a cool look, didn't he?
He did. He certainly did.
JJ's often mentioned how photogenic Dave was. He was like just naturally photogenic.
Yeah.
And, that's one of his many qualities, I think, amongst
Absolutely.
being a genius. Anyway, let's go back to the Cembalet. So this is the actual instrument that recorded those three albums.
Those, yeah.
So No More Heroes,
Ratters and Black and White, yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is it. And the sound of a Cembalet is very, very unique. Is, you know, the most well-known electric pianos are like the Fender Rhodes and the Wurlitzer. This predates those. This is like an early 1950s instrument, so it's a bit cruder, but it's got a really warm... Just improvising that. It's got a vibrato on there as well. Which I think if you listen to Grip, it's quite prominent on Grip, isn't it? Just one thing to say, that even though they've done a fantastic restoration, I think it needs a little bit of setting up. Some of the keys aren't quite striking. Don't want to appear ungrateful, repair shop. You did a fantastic job. And I don't feel like I can go back to them and say, oi, you haven't done it right. So, yeah, I'm in the process of finding... There's a couple of specialists who specialise in Hohner electric pianos. So mechanically, structurally, it's brilliant. It just needs a little bit of setting up. So do excuse my playing if I'm slightly limited. But one of the things I think really shows off this sound is Outside Tokyo, which was on black and white, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember how to play this. It's in a C sharp, which isn't a particularly favourite key of mine. Here we go. That is the sound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's got that real warmth. It's got a slightly... I was going to use the word flabby. I'm not sure if that's a good adjective to mention the sound, to describe the sound, but it's that really low down warmth. But then high up, yeah, some of these keys aren't really working, so... I mean, I've had to put quite a lot of EQ on here to get the top to cut through. So Dave, on those albums with, who was it, Martin?
Russian.
Yeah. I think they really nailed how that sound sort of sat in the mix with quite a lot of mid and EQ and probably a lot of compression and lots of other toys. But that, I think lower down you can really hear it. Dave actually did that with his left hand. I can't do. My left hand's a bit limited, so I do that when I do that live. I do that, and I do the Hammond organ with my left. Yeah. That's another. Well, I must admit, just as an aside, one of the things I didn't really appreciate with Dave is how much left hand comping. When you isolate the keys mix on those early albums. He would do a lot of comping with the left hand, doing chords with the organ to fatten out the sound. Mm. Not that it really needed it with JJ's bass and Jet's drumming, but
making that complete sound.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've had to really knuckle down with is the coordination of doing the left and the right at the same time. I mean, it's hard enough to do those lightning fast, Dave Greenfield motifs and licks without focusing on what you're doing with the other hand, but that's comes with the gig, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I think the vibrato is absolutely gorgeous. So it's variable speed. I know that strictly wasn't recorded on a... Strange Little Girl wasn't recorded, but they probably did it live, didn't they? Because it was an early song.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, it's gorgeous. Just need to get these keys sorted, and I think yeah.
And so the idea, you won't be able to take it out on tour, as some people seem to think, because it's quite a temperamental old beast.
Do you know what? It's a lovely idea, and I did toy around with the idea. I spoke to the guys about it, the band about it, about I like the idea of doing the No More Heroes solo on it, but I think in reality these go out of tune quite quickly. I can hear it's already, since I've had it back from the repair shop, which was a few months back. I can hear it's already drifting out of tune. So you've got the tuning, and although Dave could tune it, because I think you were telling me that Jet and Dave used to do piano tuning when times were hard.
As a sideline,
which is an incredibly complicated. When I was at school, one of my best mates' aunt, his dad was a piano tuner, and I remember seeing him work. And it's not just tuning the key; you've got all the sympathetic resonances and the harmonics, and it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
So that's just again shows what a genius Dave was. So the fact that he kept this tuned up and working is another one of his strengths. But yeah, so I think it's too precious because things can happen on the road. I mean, we have a mantra with the gear that we have 2 of everything. So with my keyboards, I generally have 2 of everything. So if something breaks, you've got a backup. There isn't 2 of these. This is a rare, precious, very important piece of equipment. So I think for that reason, for the fact that keeping it maintained would be tricky. What I would like to do is get it sampled. Louis did get hold of a Cembalet years ago and sampled it and did a bloody good job. But I think once we've got this absolutely tip-top with the action, I'd like to get it thoroughly sampled in a lot more detail. Because with Louis' one, he was limited with the memory on the Phantom. So, I'm getting a bit geeky here, sorry.
Over my head.
Yeah, so I think with the technology, I'd like to get it really nicely sampled, so at least we can get a virtual representation of this.
Yeah, of the Cembalet.
Of the Cembalet, the actual one.
Yeah.
Not a Cembalet. So yeah, if there's anyone out there who knows how to set these up, please get into contact with us, because we've come this far with it. We've got to get it right now. That's just the final bit. And he's done a fantastic job. He's insulated it all and made sure it's electrically safe.
Yeah, I mean it was when we had it at home and sort of lifted the lid and it was in a sorry state. It really
I think on the shows they found a hair.
Yes, yeah. And it was quite a long hair, so it was definitely one of Dave's.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been one of mine. I don't think it would have been one of yours.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could just sit here and just stare at the thing and just imagine the things it's gone through, the things it's seen.
Yeah, the miles it's done and the gigs it's played.
And the recordings, I mean, to actually be the instrument, these actual keys. Actually, one thing I've noticed playing it is keys are really fast. I can see how Dave was able to record those, like particularly black and white, where I think he was at his fastest. I mean, those lines in black and white are just
Tank and things
unbelievable.
Like that.
Yeah, Toiler and but I can't, like I say, because a few of the keys aren't quite working. It's hard to actually play the songs and do them justice on here, so I won't. But yeah, any other thoughts, Owen, looking at it?
Well, shall I tell the story about how it was located?
Yes, please.
So, back to March 2020, I got an email with my involvement with the website and things. I got an email from a guy over in South Wales who used to run a rehearsal room and worked with Bruce Gooding, who many people will recognise the name. It was a roadie for the band from around 1980 onwards. And he had basically accumulated a lot of gear in the back of this rehearsal room, and he was having to close it, so he wanted to get rid of the gear. And he saw that this was Dave's keyboard. Obviously on the back it has the Stranglers stencils on it, and even there's a small sticker on the end there near the camera.
Don't know if you can see that there. they actually kept that, which was great. Yep. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, and so basically this guy didn't want to throw it out, was kind enough to email in and to offer the keyboard back to Dave. I then sent a message on to Dave and Pam. I didn't know it at the time, but obviously Dave was quite unwell in hospital at the time. And I got a reply from Pam basically saying Dave wants you to have it. So, obviously I didn't know the situation with Dave, and obviously subsequently he sadly passed away a couple of months later. So I went down to South Wales, picked the keyboard up, and then brought it back to our house where it stayed for the next 2.5 years.
Where did you keep it in your house?
Well, I'd like to say it was pride of place, but
In a perspex cabinet.
it's quite a large, particularly when it's in a box, it's quite a large instrument, so it was actually behind our sofa for 2.5 years.
The things this keyboard's seen.
Exactly.
You could add a few more memories to that one then,
Yeah.
could you, Owen? Yeah.
And then basically, fast forward to actually the end of September 2022. The band were on a European tour with Toby on keyboards, and
God, 2022.
2022, yeah. We went backstage. It was actually my birthday, so I got a few. And we went backstage in Cologne, and we were having a chat. And I was talking to Toby about keyboards, and he basically said that he used to collect all the keyboard models that Dave used to use, and one had eluded him in his search, and unsurprisingly it was the Cembalet.
Yeah.
And I basically grabbed my phone because I had some photos of the Cembalet on it and showed Toby the images, and he said, "Who owns that?" And I said, "Well, I do, but you do now." So
Yeah, that was amazing.
it didn't take more than a second to actually think that the rightful owner is this gentleman here, and somebody that can actually appreciate it rather than maybe having it
Behind the sofa.
tucked away behind the sofa.
Just to add to what you said about me trying to collect the same keyboards as Dave, back in the day you didn't have the internet, and I had no idea that it was a Cembalet. And what I actually I remember the Sweden video.
Yeah.
You know, the one where Jet is he's a patient and he falls over and then
Yeah.
nicely done, nice bit of choreography there. And then Dave does a solo, and that's a Hohner, and I managed to identify that was a Hohner clavinet D6, and I bought one. And annoyingly, I've let that go because they're rare and very collectible as well. That's like the keyboard that Stevie Wonder did Superstitious on, and it's a completely different keyboard. It's more sort of abrasive, funky sound. But that's the lengths I went to, you know, from studying the video and identifying that keyboard. I bought the wrong one because these are so rare, and there wasn't any information about them.
Yeah. And I think then obviously, well, I dropped it over to you, I think in November 2022.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And then I think you've been having a bit of a search for people that can fix it for quite a while.
Yeah, I did. I mean, there's a couple of guys who do specialise, but they're like, there's one guy up in Scotland, and also Owen and I were quite keen that the restoration was documented and that we could maybe either get it filmed ourselves and offer it to the fans via social media or through the website. But yeah, I mean, the repair shop ended up being a fantastic opportunity to show it off, and as a tribute to Dave as well.
Yeah.
I mean, to get that much attention and primetime BBC, to have them talking about Dave and be able to sort of reflect on him and the sound and the band. And
Yeah, and I think you can tell that the guys that worked on it were absolutely blown away by not only the story behind it, but actually the fact that it was Dave's keyboard,
Yeah.
and also the fact that you were a fan and then you became the keyboard player in the band as well.
And I'm not sure if I mentioned the story before that. The reason the repair shop did it was I was watching. They were restoring a bass or something, and I thought, oh, they do instruments. And I emailed the production company. I caught the production company at the end of the show, and literally within an hour, I had one of the producers on the phone. So I think they appreciated that it is a great story, and it's a historic and amazing instrument, you know. So it's great that they got that. And yeah, so here we are. We've got the instrument. We're not quite there. It needs setting up, and that's no criticism to the restoration they've done, because mechanically the guy had to make all of these parts, and they've done a wonderful job. And also, as you'd agree, Owen, I think, all of these marks and cigarette burns and...
Yeah, the worst thing they could have done was bring it back, and it's
like a new instrument.
Yeah, it would have...
That would have been a crime.
Yeah, so...
and it is. I mean, it's a fantastic thing. So we'll get it set up. We'll get it sampled, and then I don't know. I'd quite like to maybe. I don't know if there's a rock and roll museum or somewhere where we could have it on display. Any ideas on that? I don't know.
Nothing springs to mind. I know there's the V&A occasionally have things, but then it would spend half its life tucked away in a dusty cupboard at the back somewhere. So.
If anyone's got an idea for that, I'd like it. I think it would be nice if it could go somewhere where people could see it and appreciate it, have it in a nice, you know, Perspex case or something, so people can actually see it and see all of these battle scars and up close and personal.
And although you can't tour it, you could use it for recording, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I think we could use it for recording. But like I say, because the trouble with these things is maintaining them. They go out of tune. They're very fragile. So I think it would be, you know, watch this space. I hope that we are going to do some recordings. I mean, I'm already bouncing quite a few ideas with Baz and JJ. And we're all in a position where we've got our own home studios, so it's a lot easier for us just to sort of bounce off, send ideas, and then work on them. Like I might give you a sneak preview on a couple of songs actually, Owen.
Okay, mum's the word.
That Baz and I have been bouncing. So I think to actually record this instrument, I think would be good, and to sample it. Yeah. So long term, we've got as close a replication to the sound as we can get.
Yeah, absolutely. So and a nice nod to Dave, a nice nod to the legacy.
I can't stop stroking it. Yeah, and you know, I'd just like to, before we finish, just to say again, thank you so much, Owen. I think that was a hugely generous and selfless thing that you've done in giving me the keyboard, and you know, I'm glad that we've got the restoration done, that it's been documented, that people have got to see it through the repair shop. But that, you know, I understand the way things are edited. They didn't mention your involvement in the story, so I'm glad that we've got to tell that here.
Well, it wasn't why I gave it to you in the first place.
Well, you know, it's important that people know the full story, and if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here now with this keyboard.
It would be in a skip.
It would be in a skip. So shall I do my old man's a dustman? So yeah, thank you, Owen. And we will do this keyboard justice. We will record it, and we will get it sampled, and we'll get these minor tweaks just to get some of these keys that aren't quite firing right. And yeah, this is it. This is Dave Cembalet.
The sound of Dave.
Shall I do that outside Tokyo again?
Yeah.
We'll have to do that live, actually.
Yes. Yeah. That will work so well.
That's one of my favourites. I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you've got the samples, then it's
that would be awesome.
That'll be
well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed Owen and I reminiscing, and it's been great to hear the real story of how the keyboard got to this point here, and Owen's part in that, which we'll be eternally grateful for. So thanks, Owen.
There you go. No worries.
And hopefully, I know we're not doing a lot at the moment, but there are things going on, and gigs will be coming on thick and fast in the summer, and so watch this space. Anyway, nice to spend this time and share the story. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Owen.
Cheers, Dave.